Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. I'm getting over being sick, so my voice is a little different, so thanks for bearing with me. I have a necklace that's going to be published in a few months in a magazine, and I'm doing a different style of that today. We'll be using 15mm pear-shaped or teardrop shaped faceted stones. I'll be using 3mm faceted rounds, 5mm faceted rounds, and 24 gauge artistic wire brand wire, and some cable chain. So to start with, I'm going to cut off a few inches of wire, and I'm going to start wire wrapping the teardrop beads in sort of a briolette wrap with a bead at the top. And you'll want to take the stones off of the entire strand. We'll be using all of them. So you want to take your wire and slide it through the center of the top drill bead, and I'm going to fold it over the center here and crisscross. And here I'm going to do kind of a briolette wrap where I'm going to take this and I'm going to arch the stem so I have it straight up in the air, and I'm going to grab the crisscross here at the base and coil over the stem a few times of the wire, and then cut off excess wire and pinch it closed. Go ahead and cut this and pinch closed. Next, I'm going to grab the 5mm stone and I'm going to put it over the top of this teardrop bead, and you're going to want to have it look something similar to this. And then I'm going to wire wrap a loop over the top and just go around a few times, looping it around here. Cut off my excess wire and pinch closed. And you'll want to do this design with every single briolette until you've completed all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and wire wrap each one, and then we'll go to the next step. I will be right back. So I've gone ahead and finished wire wrapping all of the briolette stones. And again, I'm using a teardrop or a pear-shaped bead, and I'm doing a briolette wrap with the crisscross over the top of the bead, 3 coils, a 5mm stone bead, and 2 coils over the top of that with our top loop. And that completes one charm for the necklace. Next, you want to wire wrap the 3mm beads, and I'm using 3mm faceted amethyst for this one, and 24 gauge silver ball head pins that are dead soft. And I've started wire wrapping a few, and the pattern will be taking one of our briolette wraps and you put 3 stones on the top of each side and 2 stones on the bottom of each side. And for this many briolettes, that means you're going to want to wire wrap 123mm stones. That might take a few minutes, so I'll do it off camera, and then I'll show you how we put the pattern together. And how I wire wrap on a ball head pin is I take our bead and I put it on the ball head pin, and I take my round nose pliers, let me get these out of the way, and I have a little bit of space over the top of the stone, just a hair. And I use my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to roll over the top of my round nose pliers, and then I'm going to tilt it up at a diagonal, kind of like a diagonal slash curve shape. Here we go. And then I'm going to go over the top of the round nose pliers to form my loop, and use my chain nose pliers to straighten it out if I need to. And then I have my loop over the stone, and I just wire wrap a couple times over the top of the stone, just a few coils, trim off excess wire, and then I pinch it closed. And I'm finished. And you have a loop over a stone. So I'm going to finish wire wrapping these guys, and we'll be back. I finished wire wrapping some of the 3mm amethyst stones, and next we're going to attach everything to our chain. Now you can use a smaller chain or a larger chain, it's up to your preference, and cut it to your desired length. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the chain in half and find a middle point on the chain and start there. And you want to make sure that the ring that you'll be using is facing upright, so that way when you join your stones, they'll lay flat as a necklace. Now I'm going to be using some 6mm jump rings, and I'll be attaching some stones. So for this first spot, I'll be using 2 stones on my jump ring. The drop and 2 more stones. And then I'll be closing the jump ring and adding a second jump ring and looping the first jump ring through the middle and separating the stones and everything out. And I'll be adding 3 more stones on each side. And I'll be closing the top jump ring. Go ahead and add 3 more stones, and then we'll be attaching it to the chain. I'm gonna close this first. If you're using an open link, which I'm using in this case, you want to make sure that's facing the right direction so that way your stone will lay flat. If you have to put the ring on sideways, for example, your stone will be sideways, you can just gently rotate it around by bending the wire and it will lay flat while it's still connected to the chain. If you don't have a chain that opens, you can just use a smaller jump ring to attach the drop. So for this one, and I'll have the link to my supplies too in the directions, or I can put a kit together for you as well. So for this one, I'm just going to open the link, and I want to take the top jump ring here, and you want to make sure your stones are separated evenly, so 3 on each side, and then you want to grab it with your tools and then put it here on the open link like so. It's always harder to do stuff when you're on camera and you're sick. Let's try that again. So I'm going to separate my stones here in half by sliding them around. Okay, there we go. I'm going to grab my jump ring, slide it onto my necklace here, and then I'm going to add the other loop back on. Promise you it's not this hard, just everything's harder for me today. And I'm going to close the link. Okay, so I went ahead and closed the link, and you can see when you lay the chain flat that the opening and everything is just right, so everything will lay flat. So as you're wearing the necklace, it will lay flat on the neckline. I designed the other necklace with a smaller, daintier chain, which I'm out of. I think I'm gonna go find it and swap that out. I like the smaller chain over the thicker chain, but here's one option. I'm gonna grab the other chain and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and we're going to finish this necklace. Okay, so again, I'm gonna do the 6mm jump ring with 2 stones on either side of our center stone here, and close, and then take a second jump ring, open, put that in the center again. You want everything in between the stones so they fall nice and equal on each side. And on the top ring, we're going to do 3 stones on each side. And then since I got a smaller chain, I will be attaching these dangles to the chain with a 3mm jump ring in the center. Let me pull one of those out. And again, when you're ready to do this, you just want to lay out your chain and have it be in half as a starting point. Here we go. So you want to take your entire length of your chain, fold it in half, find the center, and then you want to make sure that your loop is facing out, and then slide your jump ring through the center of the loop and close. And then again, as you're wearing your necklace, you want everything to lay flat on the neckline like this. And then how I space it is I go 3 loops, 1, 2, 3 loops that are open. I put my next dangle attachment, and I just space it out probably a good inch between each dangle piece, and then it will have a nice flow on the neckline, and they will be staggered with space, so they fall nice and they're not jumped together in like a large dangle contraption on your neckline. When they're spaced out on the on the neckline like this, they'll hold their space and they'll be nice and even on your neckline. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach some more and I'll be right back. I thought I would do a close-up actually here when I'm attaching it. So I have the one link here and I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3 links and then attach this through the third link and close. And then you can see how these will lay out on the chain with about 1 inch of space in between. When you've added all of your stone drops, you want to add a lobster clasp at the back and then go ahead and lay it out. And then here's what your finished product will look like. And there are lots of different stones that you can do this with. I got these from Cherry Tree Beads and they have blue, orange, all kinds of different stone colors that you can choose from. And how you want to finish it is, I have 4 on each side for this particular one, and then I have 1 center drop. So when it lays on your neckline, they should be across from each other, and then also you'll have a deep one here in the center. Go ahead and I'm going to put this on a necklace board so we can see what it looks like up. And here's what your finished product will look like. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please like and subscribe. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and TikTok. And please check out my other tutorials under my Reels tab on Instagram or on my YouTube, and have a great day.